Okay, I think we're ready now. Come on. Oh, of course, it goes to the other these. Okay, hang on. I'm sharing and I'll share over here. There we go. Okay, we're going to manage forecast data. So business forecasting models, you need indicators, which we've covered a few times in the economic cycle. So for heavy trucking, our indicators tend to be things like auto sales and housing starts, because building cars and building houses uses a lot of trucks to move parts. Confidentiality issues, you got to have the NDAs in place. And then we've got this whole system now where we got to label things as confidential. Um, Develop a supplier when information can be disclosed. That's what the NDA is all about. And the production plan, suppliers, if we give them production information, which we do often through the website, they got to consider that confidential and not share it with Volvo. Legal implications, our NDAs have been vetted thoroughly, so I'm not too worried about that, but it can't be too broad or too narrow. Define how the information can be used by both parties. And what is supplier managed inventory? We've covered this a few times. Most of the time, they'll call it VMI, vendor managed inventory. Supply chain agreement where the manufacturer supplier takes control of the inventory management decisions for the reseller or the retailer. So they come in and count our fasteners and resupply when necessary. Uh, Supplier managed inventory strategy. A buyer shares all inventory related data. Facilities the supplier in deciding the right order size for the buyer. This facilitates the supplier. In this setup, the supplier takes care of the ordering cost and the buyer usually handles the holding cost. So you can also set up BMI or SMI on consignment, which is where we don't pay for it until we use it. Usually that's not the way it's set up. Usually they'll just bill us monthly after they stock it. In supply terms, this means upstream agent is responsible for the inventory of the downstream agent. Yeah, okay. So whether or not the inventory is consigned is a different question. So who owns it until the truck is made? Like I said, usually we would just be billed monthly after they stock it. But in some industries, especially if it's a really expensive item, it may be consigned inventory. This is also known as managed inventory, continuous replenishment, supplier assisted inventory replenishment. And then how can it be applied successfully? Providing the customer data on sold items can be sent to the distributor. Then upstream and downstream agents plan collaboratively. Everybody's got to be looking at the same data. Focus on quality forecasting, safety stocks, lead times, that type of thing, and implement the system together and continuously review the system. So a lot of times what happens in the system is there's a lot of shrinkage because we're not really paying attention and stuff gets put places it shouldn't. What are the advantages of it? Uh, Production always has parts. Control downstream decisions can help transport decisions and it promotes long-term relationships. SMI programs are costly, which can reduce working capital. Usually you pay for those because you got to have the supplier's personnel in your plant. Somebody's got to pay for that. It can go wrong due to technology capabilities. If you got really sloppy inventory records, this is a problem. And dependence on one supplier that uses SMI can be costly if performance degrades. Also, you don't really know what kind of deal you're getting after 3 or 4 years. Then there's CPFR. We've covered this a number of times. Sharing forecast data up and down the supply chain. Everybody's using the same ERP software, so SAP, and you can see their inventory and planned production all up and down the supply chain. Walmart loves this, which it really helps them because they start throwing sales on and they start running out of inventory. The supply chain can see that the sales coming up. As for joint development, commodity codes, everybody's got to use the same commodity codes, etc. And then we've covered this before, the CPFR process. So manufacturer on the outside here in the white, retailer on the inside, and then these are the 4 steps. And then product life cycle. So this is a ISM thing here. They've got 5 different steps to a product's life cycle. Pre-commercialization, which is R&D and development. And you introduce the product, monitor quality and correct problems. And you've got product growth, hopefully, which is the big issues there, continuity of supply and shared forecast data. Then you got maturity, and this is where supplier managed inventory and outsourcing come in. And then decline is really where outsourcing can come in. You have somebody else build the lower volume stuff. 5 stages, pre-commercialization. Not every new product development program needs extensive pre-commercialization phases. New product is ready for commercialization immediately after the validation phase. This is the way software works. Usually not hardware though. Suppliers may contribute by developing component specs or recommending parts, recommending new technologies, or in some cases co-developing the products. This runs into kind of intellectual property issues. You got to have those to find out, something like a DDA. Supply chain management is kind of flexibility, on-time delivery, and early supplier involvement. So in the introduction phase, so this is the pre-commercialization phase. These are what you're concerned on-time delivery, flexibility, and ESI. The next phase, in introduction, failure rates high, products don't make it. Production and marketing costs are also high because volumes are low. And suppliers can proactively monitor and correct problems before they reach the customer. Buyers balance the chance of product failure with material availability. And I'm sure you've passed a forecast or two along on truck production that has not come close to becoming true. It happens. Growth. Here the emphasis switches from demand promotion to aggressive brand advertising, and continuity of supply is what's really important here. They consider a make strategy or seek additional sources of supply, and supply management may share forecasted data with suppliers to ensure. So you can go with 2 or 3 suppliers making the same part if you got good enough growth. Toward the end of the growth phase, prices normally begin falling and profits peak. And price reductions result from increased competition because you're making so much money, you get a lot of competition coming into the space, producing larger quantities of items. So maturity, this is the 4th stage. Yeah. So sales continue to go up, but at a decreasing rate of change. So the percentage increase is lower and lower. So most products that have been on the market for a long time are in this stage. One stage to bring out several variations of a basic product, and suppliers may manage inventory. Supplier management may need to reduce lead times, reduce costs, ensure supply. So this is kind of the stage that trucking is in. Although we come out with new trucks and new models, it's still about reducing lead time, reducing costs, ensuring supply, because the industry is mature. And then the final stage is decline. So sales and profits. Rate of decline is governed by 2 factors: rate of change in customer tastes and the rate at which new products enter the market. So at some point, trucks get replaced by, I don't know, something. But well, I can look at diesel trucks. So diesel trucks are currently in the mature phase. But in the next 10 years, they'll go into the decline phase because electric trucks will be coming out and hydrogen trucks. And we'll still be selling diesel trucks, but we'll be selling fewer and fewer. Supplier may offer low-cost solutions. Management may use subcontractors. So this is where diesel trucks are going to become tricky because as we reduce volumes, our pricing starts taking a hit. And then end of life cycle. At some point, we'll discontinue making diesel trucks. It might not be for 20 years, but at some point we will. And the organization may sell to another org, use the waste of byproduct elsewhere, use scrap brokers, dispose of materials by some legal means to destroy the waste or byproducts. This would be after you stop the leftover truck parts. Information exchange option. Face-to-face, virtual conference call, email, web portals. A lot of people would like to rely on email and web, but there's nothing like a phone call to get things across to people, and face-to-face is even better. All right. Which of the following best describes supplier managed inventory? What do you guys think? Not legal contracting, throw that out. And it's not capacity planning. Well, could be kind of misconstrued that way, but I'm thinking B is the best answer. Have I got any other ideas?
I'm going with B.
Yeah. Well, am I going to open this? Open in desktop. Come on. Okay. Oh, I got the whole label thing we got to do here again. General, blind. Okay, so it is B. Yep. All right. John Davis is a sourcing manager for a consumer electronics manufacturing company. This company is developing a new product they expect will change the industry. They always are going to come out that way. And Davis wants to engage suppliers in the product development cycle. Which of the following includes the items most important when involving suppliers early in the development cycle? And remember, ISM loves the long answer. Any
So
guesses
we're
here?
looking at C.
Yeah, that's what I would say. That's what we go with. See, it is. See, the longest answer covers the most ground. All right, I'm going to put the C4 questions in the chat. And attach file to, where the heck did they go? There they go. 2018 and questions to C4. All right, so you guys go ahead and get on them. We'll see how many we got here. Hopefully it's not a whole lot. Let's see. It is 6 questions. All right. So we'll go over answers at like 2:22. If you guys don't get them done, raise your hand before then. All right, you guys ready to go over some answers? Number one is Charlie. Growth phase, the supply management professional should focus on ensuring continuity of supply. And what tripped you up there? So this is the mature phase where you're reducing costs according to ISM. In the growth phase, you're about alternative sources. B, SMI or VMI system, the supplier is responsible for stocking the inventory. 3 is Charlie. Maturity phase is characterized by increasing sales rate but decreasing percentage. It's going up, still going up, but going up slower and slower. So it's Charlie. 4 is also Charlie. The forecasted sales, oh, these are the math problems. Forecasted sales period is 54,000. Using level production, the total period is 6,000 times 8 or 48,000. Plus the 2,000 in the beginning inventory, which was a little wrinkle they threw in there. This will leave, so that's 6,000. This will leave a total of 50,000 units available during the 8 months. Subtracting the available units, sales forecast is 4,000. So the 54 minus 48 plus the 2, it gives you 4,000. And then similar in problem 5 is Bravo. Forecasted sales is 259 if you add them all up. And then 30,000 times 8 is 240, which will leave you with 29 pieces. 29,000 at 545,000. And then 6 is Bravo. Early supplier involvement seeks to draw suppliers' expertise early in the design process. Any questions? All right, we're going to work on 5 tomorrow, I think. See what we're doing here tomorrow. Yeah, forecast accuracy. Well, that one gets a little tricky. So talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye, Rick.